Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about the second type of content to create articles. That is buyer intent content. Okay. So far what we have discussed is one is mainly the different types of content. There are we briefly discussed what are all the different types. One is informational, other one is buyer intent. There, if you have not seen the video related to this particular topic, please I request you go ahead and watch it. It is there in the channel. And as a follow-up video, we also spoke extensively on information article, how to create an information article, what are all the factors you need to consider, how you need to do your keyword research, and how you need to form your content structure and all those things. So there is one more video describing all this entire process. I request you also go and check that video as well. If you watch both those videos, then you will get a fair idea about uh, the identification of various topics and basically the different types of content that you can write for a selected micro niche. So this is the third video in the series where today we are going to talk about buyer intent content. Okay, so if you recall, we discussed that there are mainly two types of content that you can publish in your blog or website. One is informational, other one is buyer intent. Informational we already spoke. So now today we are going to discuss about the buyer intent content. This is straightforward. You need to basically focus on the quality part. The structure wise, there is no much of complexity here. First of all, what is buyer intent content? Buyer intent content is when a person is searching for something with an intent to purchase, okay, whether it is a product or service, then you are providing him the necessary information to that visitor, so that you influence that website visitor to purchase the product when or service. When the visitor purchases certain product or service, you get a commission from that, which is nothing but affiliate commission, because you actually influenced a person to purchase certain product. That's what it is. Okay, so we'll take an example of the product and go through it. For example, if you so this is, if you let's look at the data of that natural beauty related micro niche. There is a video created exclusively for this particular micro niche, describing about how we discovered this micro niche and what are all the data points around it. And we also discussed about a reference site built on this particular micro niche. There is a video in the channel again for this particular topic. So if you have not yet seen that, I request you go ahead and watch that video as well. Okay, now these are all the different topics that we discovered this for this particular micro niche with the low difficulty and good decent search value, right? Now all these things, if you see, like natural hair dye, for example, okay, natural hair shampoo, organic hair shampoo, okay, best natural hair shampoo, all these things are basically um, the products, right? So if some I am searching for best natural shampoo, that means with an intention of purchasing it, then you will have to typically what websites do is they provide the reviews ratings about that particular product, and then uh, influence that person to purchase it. That's what it is. Okay, so let's first take an example of one product and check it out. So this is again the keyword analysis. Just want to say exclusively how the search result for this particular specific keyword. Okay, so normally what I do is I look for at least one low domain rating website for any selected product. Then only I am confident to go ahead with that. Though difficulty is less, if top 10 or 20 results are with high domain rating, then I'm little uncomfortable to pick it up in the beginning. So later point of time, maybe once I publish 20-30 articles on my website, then I can go ahead and compete for these keywords, but not in the very beginning. Okay, so let me pick something else. Natural face wash, let's check this out. Okay, if we see the results again here, Okay, let's see, all domain rating, all are high only. Okay, there is no low domain rating website again coming here. So anything here? Okay, the best organic shampoo. Let's check this particular item. Okay, let's see the results for this. Okay, yeah, I think this is the perfect. So you can see here, right? Domain rating only 6. Still, it is appearing in the top 9 results, top 10 results. Basically, this is ninth one in the order. Okay, so that means even though if you start a new blog or you are publishing article on a relatively low DR site, there is a very good chance to appear in the search results if you focus on the quality. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, now let's take this topic. Okay, so how to write a buyer intent content. So topic is basically best organic. Okay, so formula is more or less straightforward for buyer intent content. So at least what I follow and I observed in most of the sites. So what happens is first you have something called introduction, briefly talk about what it is, and then so here one topic will go either related to this particular product, like why you should use it or benefit, something like that. It is an organic shampoo, so I always go for, it's again your common sense, benefits of organic shampoo. Okay, so you are just helping the user to influencing the visitor to go for it by showing by highlighting the benefits, why organic shampoo is better than compared to normal typical shampoo. Okay, so now here is what we normally do is, now what we say, top X best organic shampoos. So we pick maybe 5, 10 or 7, 3. There is, its number is varied. Either you pick more and display more items, or you pick less and talk more about each of the item. It's up to you basically. Okay, then go to either amazon.com or maybe some other website where you have an affiliate, pick maybe top maybe 5 products or 10 products or 12 products, whatever may be the number. It's up to you. Okay, so other way of picking up this is, you normally you can actually look at the search results and you can see here the number. Okay, 14, 10, 20, 10, 12. It will give an indicative number for you. How is an average? On an average there is about, I think, 10, 12 is looks to be average. This 20 is outlier, one of them, but we don't know how detailed the product description here is. So if you look into the each of the products, you see this is, there is no much of description. They simply actually published an image and a brief summary. That's about it. So if you want to publish this kind of a content, you can write you can actually list many. But typically what the sites, what we observed is, there will be a relatively 10 or 7 or 12 kind of a products, and they talk about each of the product in detail. Now if you see here, so this is the product and they are talking about basically the sub components of each of the product and describing each of it. Okay, so you can see here, this is what it is. So on an average about a 10 or 12 is there. You can pick either the same number or maybe 1 or 2 more than that, or you can actually go less but go into very in detail. Okay, so both the approaches, whichever is more comfortable for you, you can pick it up. Now what happens is, so once you pick this top X products, what you need to do is, for each product, one is, these are the details that you need to talk about: name, description, specifications, features, pros and cons, precautions, usage details, and finally basically your opinion. Okay, these are all the typically subheadings. Okay, of course you need to give a name with link to where you want to forward the user. Now what happens is, not necessarily all these items are mandatory for each of the product. Okay, let me actually reduce the font size a little bit. And okay, now for each opinion, for each product, this is what happens. Okay, let me do little formatting. Okay, now for most of the products, name description will be there for sure, but specifications, feature, pros and cons not necessarily mandatory for each of the product. I will give you an example. For example, if you take a shampoo, for shampoo, you don't normally talk about the specifications. You typically talk for a electronic gadget. For example, if you are talking about washing machine, okay, then you need to mention about the specifications and all that. But for the shampoos and the dryers, for these kind of products, though there are specifications, but people really don't bother about the specifications. Features typically you talk about for most of the products. Pros and cons also, yes, but again, if you have good enough content to write about the pros and cons, but if it is only, I think, very common for all the products, then you better not to mention. Most of the times for the organic products, right, more or less pros and cons would be same. Okay, then precautions also, if it is a very commonly used product and there is no any special precautions to be taken care to use that particular product, for example, a refrigerator, okay, there won't be any very special precaution for each of the product, right? But if you are using some kind of, again, organic shampoo, probably you may have to use it because because of the side effects and all those things. Okay, or you are applying it on a body, so you may want to basically take care of certain things. And then usage details also, not necessarily for everything. Again, for example, if you take refrigerator, you may not read usage details, but if you are talking about let's take face cream, okay, you need some kind of usage details to instructions for the user how to use that product. Finally, you are going to talk about opinion. So for depending on the type of product for which you are actually writing an article, either all of this or some of this will be applicable. You pick appropriately. Okay, for sure, name, description, features, and opinion, these four more or less will be there. Five, right? One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 4, these four will 100% will be there. Remaining four, you pick, if all are applicable, makes sense, you go ahead and pick it up, or else basically you can skip some of those topics. This is the typical formula. Okay, so likewise for each of the product, you do the research and provide this kind of a content and provide the link. So once user reads and satisfies with that product review, then basically go ahead and explore the price in the respective site and purchase it, and you get your commission. That's what it is. So this is how most of the site will be. So very few sites will have the additional heading. This I strongly recommend you to include. That is something called buyer guide. Okay, so after all these things are explained, you want to give a summarized view or some kind of a assistance to visitor, what factors the visitor need to consider to basically select certain product depending on the different circumstances. Okay, for example, let's look at the couple of articles. We just saw this, right? I'm not sure if there is a buyer guide. Let's see. Is there a buyer guide for here? No, they just talk about only the products. Let's look at the below DR site. What kind of a structure is there in that site? Okay, for each of the product, of course, there is a description, all that is there. And finally, uh, 10 is there. Okay, they mentioned about the ingredients in shampoo and conclusion only. I don't see much any buyer guide here also. So this would be actually your differentiator, and you can talk a lot of things in the buyer guide. Okay, because if you take any of these review websites, they mostly will be focusing a lot on the product. So this particular section will give you a little edge on, at least on majority of the site. There you will find about maybe 10 to 20% of the sites talking about the buyer guide as well. But even if they don't talk, if you mention that, right, so you can actually talk about lot many factors which wouldn't have been covered by other competitor websites. That will give you edge. Okay, and then finally conclusion. Okay, So this is the typical structure of any of the buyer intent content article. I think so. You can go ahead, and we already saw 4 5 examples. If you want, we can see one more example here. Let's take okay, let's see here this particular trade. You will find more or less this we have seen, I guess, right? So let's look at the first site. We haven't seen the first site yet. So if you see here again, so basically here they mainly focused on the images and all that. Then they have given the link. Okay, they mentioned about a product, and then basically each of the products, see, same formula, each of the product, link, and then description of the product. You go to any of the basically these sites, you will find more or less same kind of thing. Okay, so there is no huge deviation with respect to structure, but devil in the details. That means how different, unique your content for each of the section is what is going to decide your search performance. So there are again 2 ways of looking at it. One is the quantitative and qualitative. So what is quantitative? Quantitative means you look at on an average how many products being covered in most of these sites in top 10 or 20, and you go maybe add 2 or 3. For example, if maximum is 20, you can go for 25, but if 20 is an outlier, this is rare site, predominantly you can see on an average 10 to 12 or 14 is the maximum is there, so you can go for a 15 product. That's a quantitative approach. Okay, qualitative is you just pick only maybe 5 or 7, but then just scan through all these competitive sites and see how much data they are giving, how much details they are providing, and go in deep and mention, do a little research and gather all the user reviews and all those things, and then provide a very in-depth content. That's another best one other way of basically providing a quality content. Okay, either you take a quantitative view or qualitative. Quantitative is easy. All you need to do basically gather certain information and then keep adding the more and more products. But qualitative will give you an edge because you stand out in comparison to the competition, but you need to put a lot of effort for that. Okay, um, that's basically the main structure and the guidelines when you are actually creating a buyer intent content. Other thing what you can do is, most of you must have been part of your WhatsApp groups with friends or families. So just ask them a question. If you are buying an organic shampoo today, what is that you look for? Okay, so even in your groups, if there are 100 200 member are there, even 3 4 people respond to that query also, that's good enough. That, so always think like this. When you are writing an article, you are writing an article not for yourself. You are writing an article, blog post, to answer the questions being asked by the website visitor. Okay, website visitor is coming to online to search for certain things, to find certain information, and then whoever provides the best information is going to win the battle. That's about it, right? So so you just assume that one is you yourself are a website visitor, and then what kind of information you look for when you are trying to purchase this any of the product, okay, that you just selected. But you will be slightly biased if you yourself think like that, because you always tend to think you look for this kind of information. That's why do a quick survey within your own circles. You no need to go external and all that. Within your WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups, just pop up a question. So if you are going to purchase a natural face cream today, what are all the top 3 things or 5 things that you look for in the product? They will say, okay, it should be the feature should be like this, or it should not be harmful, whatever they may provide. So take those things and then bring some other, I think, ingredients around it, and ensure that you address those aspects in your article. You are good. Basically, you are directly actually providing the content that is required by a user. That's what you all what you need to do to get more traffic. Okay, so that's once I prepare this kind of a structure, I myself decide this X. I normally put sometime 10 or 12, whatever it is. Then I give this structure to my writer. Once they provide me the details, I will do some sanity checks and then proceed for the publication. Okay. That's what it is. So we covered almost all the types of content or articles. In next video, what I will do is I will actually explain you one more tip that I normally explore, not using any of these paid tools. One general, I think, using Google itself, how I discover some of the keywords which are most of the times are giving positive results. I will explain that aspects, those aspects as well. You can consider those things as well while creating your next article. Okay. So that's all for today. Hope you found this useful. Thank you very much for your time. Bye.